7 seconds. That is all the time it took for a 265-pound heavyweight champion to realize he was fighting a ghost. 7 seconds of pure, haunting humiliation in a silent Oakland gym. Most fighters spend a lifetime trying to land one perfect punch, but Bruce Lee spent 7 seconds proving that he was untouchable. No cameras, no referees, and no second chances. Just a stopwatch, 20 stunned witnesses, and a giant who couldn't hit the wind. You've seen the movies. You've seen the one-inch punch. But today, we are going deep into the most legendary underground sparring session in history. A moment where physics didn't just bend, it broke. If you think you know how fast Bruce Lee was, these 7 seconds will prove you wrong. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why the greatest power isn't in your muscles, it's in your mind. To understand the weight of this moment, we have to go back to 1964. Oakland, California. Long before the bright lights of Hollywood and the global fame, Bruce Lee was a man on a mission. He wasn't a star yet, he was a rebel. He was a martial arts philosopher who was making the traditional masters very, very angry. He was teaching non-Chinese students, breaking old rules, and claiming that traditional kung fu was too stiff for a real fight. The gym where this happened was private, tucked away in a back alley. It wasn't a fancy dojo with polished floors. It was raw. The air was thick-smelling of dried sweat, old leather, and the sharp tang of cigar smoke from the men watching from the sidelines. These weren't fans. These were hardened fighters, boxers, wrestlers, and street brawlers. They had come to see if this little fast man was the real deal or just a dancer. In the center of the ring stood a man they called the Mountain. He was 6'4", 265 pounds of pure, terrifying granite. He was a champion of the underground boxing circuits, a man who had ended careers with a single right cross. His reach was legendary, and his power was enough to dent a steel door. He looked at Bruce, who was only 135 pounds, lean, calm, and looking almost fragile in comparison. And he laughed. It was a loud, booming laugh that echoed off the brick walls. "You're fast, kid," he said, looking down at Bruce. "But speed doesn't matter when I snap your ribs with one jab. You can't dance your way out of a broken jaw." Bruce didn't argue. He didn't flex his muscles or try to look intimidating. He simply adjusted his stance, weight centered, eyes locked on the giant's chest, not his eyes. He understood the science of the human body better than anyone in that room. He looked the giant in the eyes and made a bet that sent a shiver through the witnesses. "I won't strike back," Bruce whispered. His voice was calm, almost cold. "You have exactly 7 seconds to touch me. Just one touch. If your glove even grazes my skin, I will admit defeat. I will close my school and never teach in the city again." The room went cold. The fighters on the sidelines stopped talking. This wasn't just a spar anymore. It was a gamble with his entire legacy. If Bruce failed, his career was over before it began. The giant tightened his gloves, a smirk of absolute confidence on his face. He thought it was a joke. He thought 135 pounds of skin and bones stood no chance against his massive reach. He was wrong. Long pause, second one. The giant lunges. It's a classic heavyweight opener, a devastating left hook designed to end the fight before it even starts. It's the kind of punch that doesn't just knock you out. It changes your life. The crowd gasps. The sound of the glove cutting through the air is like a whip cracking. But Bruce isn't there. He doesn't jump back or panic. He simply slides 2 inches to the left. The move is so small, so efficient, that it looks like he didn't move at all. The giant's fist whistles past his ear, the wind from the punch literally ruffling Bruce's hair. Second 2. The heavyweight, now frustrated and feeling the eyes of the crowd, throws a lightning-fast double jab. This is professional-level boxing. Most men would be blinded by the speed of these gloves. But Bruce's head moves in a tight, rhythmic circle. He isn't reacting to the punches after they are thrown. He is anticipating the vacuum they leave behind. He is moving before the punch is even fully formed. He is reading the giant's nervous system, seeing the intent before the muscle even twitches. Second, 3. Panic starts to set in for the big man. He's never missed this many times in a row. He tries a clinch a bear hug that would crush Bruce's spine like a dry twig. As the massive arms wrap around the air, expecting to find a body, Bruce is already behind him. It's like watching a shadow dance with a statue. The giant spins around, his face turning red, his breathing becoming heavy. Second, 4. The silence in the gym is now haunting. You could hear a pin drop on the concrete floor. The giant throws his hardest right cross the Sunday punch. This is the punch that had knocked out heavyweight legends. But Bruce does the unthinkable. He doesn't move back. He moves in. He enters the dead zone, the space where a long punch has no power because the arm hasn't extended yet. He is inches from the giant's chest, looking him in the eyes, completely unbothered. He is so close they are breathing the same air, yet he remains untouchable. Second, 5. The giant is swinging wildly now. His technique, his years of training, his discipline, all of it is gone, replaced by pure, raw desperation. He tries a low kick, hoping to trip the smaller man. Bruce lifts his legs slightly, a stop-hit motion. He doesn't even connect, but the sheer speed and timing of the lift makes the giant freeze mid-motion. It's a psychological checkmate. Second, 6. Total mental exhaustion. The giant stops. His hands drop to his sides. He is gasping for air, but not because he's physically tired. He's terrified. For the first time in his life, he realizes he is swinging at a ghost. He can't hit what his brain can't even track. His eyes are wide, searching for a target that seems to exist in a different dimension of time. Second, 7. The clock stops. Bruce is standing exactly where he started, in his original stance. His breathing is as rhythmic as a sleeping child's. Not a single bead of sweat has formed on his brow. The heavyweight, however, is drenched, his face pale, his heart racing at 100 miles an hour. Long pause. How did he do it? How does a man overcome the laws of size and reach so effortlessly? It wasn't magic. It was the result of a training regime that was decades ahead of its time. Bruce called it non-telegraphic movement. Most fighters, even the greats, telegraph their moves. Before a punch is thrown, the shoulder twitches, the eyes shift, or the weight moves to the back foot. These are tiny signals, but to a trained eye, they are like a siren. Bruce had trained his body to eliminate these signals entirely. He could go from 0 to 100 miles per hour without his muscles showing a single flicker of intent. He had spent thousands of hours striking a candle flame, trying to put it out with the wind of his punch without touching the wick. He had trained his eyes to track flies in midair. He had turned his nervous system into a high-speed processor. The heavyweight's brain was looking for a signal that never came. By the time the giant's eyes saw Bruce move, Bruce was already gone. But there was more to it than just physical speed. There was the philosophy of the void. Bruce believed that in a fight, you should have no fixed form. You should be like water. Water can flow or it can crash. But most importantly, you cannot hurt water. You can strike it with a hammer. You can stab it with a knife. But the water simply moves around the object and remains whole. The heavyweight champion didn't demand a rematch that day. He didn't shout or make excuses. He did something that changed the atmosphere of the entire gym. He took off his heavy gloves, walked to the center of the ring, and he bowed deeply to the 135-pound man. He later told his fellow fighters, "I've fought the toughest men in the country. I've taken hits from giants. But today, I felt like I was fighting the wind. You can't break the wind. You can't even touch it." Bruce walked over, put a hand on the giant's massive shoulder, and whispered a lesson that the witnesses would remember for the rest of their lives. To hit the wind is impossible. To be the wind is the goal. Your strength is your cage. Only when you let go of the need to be powerful will you truly become dangerous. Bruce Lee proved that day that size, weight, and power are all secondary to the mastery of one's self. He didn't just outspeed a man. He outspeed the very concept of failure. This session became the foundation of what would later become Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. So, the next time you feel like you're facing a giant in your own life, whether it's a problem that seems too big to solve, a person who tries to intimidate you, or a fear that keeps you paralyzed, remember those 7 seconds in Oakland. Don't try to match their strength. Don't try to be louder or bigger. Instead, focus on your own center. Train your mind to see the signals before they happen. Learn to move without effort, because in the end, the person who wins isn't the one who can strike the hardest. It's the one who is no longer there to be struck. Don't fight the force. Be the wind. Pause. Thank you for watching this untold story. If you want to dive deeper into the hidden archives of Bruce Lee's life, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon. Our next video will reveal the secret training Bruce used to develop his legendary 1-inch puncher technique that even modern scientists are still trying to fully understand. Until next time, stay fast, stay focused, and be water, my friend.